Yo, still, man, what's the deal, man? Yo, it's Monday. Yo, man, I'm excited about this week. We take our family vacation to Florida on, later on this week. I'm overjoyed about that. Hey, all praises due, man. All praises due. It pays to be in good health, and it pays to be in a position where you can be a provider and get credit and all that, man. So shout out to me, my wife, my little family. But peep game, man. We gotta get into this shit, man. And that is Derek motherfucking Chisora, man. Listen, nobody expected you to come out victorious in that fight against Joe Joyce. Everybody thought you was a dead man walking. I sure as a motherfucker did. And I'm not even on cap, man. I haven't watched the fight yet. I watched highlights of the fight, but I did have my suspicions that you could pull it off, and I just think because you're more defensively sound than Joe Joyce. And Joe Joyce, I don't know. Maybe it is his chin after Zhang cracked it. Maybe his punch resistance has waned just a tad bit. Maybe so. Maybe so, but I just think Derek Chisora has been in there with the better, with the more quality opposition from Dillian White. You dig the Klitschko's, the David Hayes, the Usyks. He's been in there with a higher grade of opponent than you have, and he's been in some tough wars. He's had some tough outings, man. That dude ain't sweet. That dude ain't sweet, and Joe Joyce, he has a speed advantage over Joe Joyce, and I think he has better endurance and cardio than Joe Joyce, man. I don't know what it is about Derek Chisora, but this dude can wane on the rope, consistently bob and weave up under the shots and come back over the top with the hooks, the round and looping hooks and clip you, and that helps for somebody who doesn't move their head. Joe Joyce still is a dude who operates off of the narrative, off of the notion that he has a cast iron chin. That works all the way up until it doesn't, bro, and you eventually got sat down because of that. But not last night, that fight is indicative of you don't need to be a champion and be undefeated to have meaningful fights, man. That's what I really wanted to talk about. We really got to get out of this mindset, and it's mainly in the American boxing scene, bro. Just our it's just so much wrong and just corroded with our scene, man. We don't understand. We forget what it means to just have a balling ass good fight. People they didn't really appreciate the Jaime Munguia and Sergey Derevianchenko fight because Sergey Derevianchenko has a multitude of losses. He's lost all his big fights. Yeah, it's and even I suffer from that sometimes as well. Like, man, I don't want to see this dude. He lost, he keep losing, and yada 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 yada. And you just forget that, man. But this dude is actually good. Derevianchenko is good, man. Like, Derevianchenko is a good fighter, and even when he lost to Jaime Munguia, he was in there giving him good work. He was in there giving him real good work. You dig? So I just think that when fighters lose, our mind is so, our disposition when it comes to, a fighter's worth and a loss is just so, it's convoluted with bullshit and false equivalencies of nothingness. If you lose, you ain't about shit. You just lost. You just lost. You just lost. You just lost. And I feel like, man, that just, we got to do with it. We got to dispel of that, man. We have to dispel of that. We have to purge ourselves from this Floyd Mayweather mentality of perfection, because 99% of boxers are going to lose. 99.9% of boxers who fight at the high level is going to lose. Everybody is not leaving that. Everybody is not retiring undefeated. The greats, all of them are not going to retire undefeated, and that's okay. That's cool. But we have to really get out of this mindset that if you lose and you washed or you trash, it's really ridiculous. It's a really ridiculous narrative, man. And I feel like Saturday's fight showed us that. It showed us that, man. It showed us you can't count you can't count a motherfucker out. You dig? Derek Chisora has like double-digit losses, man, and people are still coming in there to see him fight because of how he fights. You're gonna get a show he's gonna put on for you. He's going to put on for you. You dig? I really want us to get out of that mind state, man. it's such a a dilapidated mind state to have that if you lose, bro. Mike went 6-0 in the finals. No other like no Bill Russell didn't. But no other greats going that like what no other greats going like give you that type of record in the finals when it really mattered. No, you learn through loss. You learn through loss. You learn through loss, and people just believe that fighters, niggas who done took all type of L's in their hood, if you lose, you wash, niggas. So I can just go out here and just beat your ass, huh? As many times as you done took an L in the streets, I just go out here and just crash you. Easy work, right? That should be, that's the general consensus according to y'all. We got to get out of this mindset, man. Good fights can still be had with two dudes who have been knocked out multiple times. They can be. They can be, man. I'm glad that they performed the way that they performed, bro. I'm glad of, and I don't think Joe Joyce is a gatekeeper as of yet. He give me one more fight at the top level. Because I mean, he's beat Daniel Dubois. He knocked out both Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, if nobody else, is the perfect example of somebody who minor setback for major comeback. That's my favorite. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. That man came back, and when he's been on a tear ever since that Parker, that Joe Joyce fight, that loss, that knockout loss. Joyce put that man down when Joshua couldn't. Came back, had like 4 fights that same year, man. Violated Deontay Wilder and then beat the dude who knocked Joe Joyce out. You know what I'm saying? That's the beautiful thing, man. Boxing, triangle theories don't work, but there's parallels you could take from them, and sometimes they just completely contradict just the overall consensus of thing, man. Like, I was expecting Joe Joyce to go in there and get hurt by Zhilei Zhang, bro. I was, and he did technically get hurt, but he won the fight. I was expecting Zhilei Zhang to come out victorious in that fight, and he didn't. Did it? You dig? That is, I love seeing it. The underdog story is dope, man. It's dope. It's dope. That's the true essence of the sport, man. He beat me, you didn't, and just because he beat you, that doesn't mean you gonna beat me. I love that shit, man. I love it. So I'm glad that Derek Chisora went on there and put on how he put on for the Brits. I loved it. The dude is a dog, man. The dude is a dog. There's a fucking dog in there, man. Anthony Joshua is another prime example of that. And I heard Jules say something or whatever, and that and just that brings me to another point when it comes to Teddy Atlas, man, and how off base a lot of these cats, their narratives are when it comes to certain fighters. You can tell when a fighter has a certain beef or gripe with a certain, not a fighter, but a journalist, a writer, a scribe, a content creator, whoever. You can tell when they have a certain beef with a certain fighter, because their energy it won't be kept the same across the board, man. When he went, he said, I remember him saying shit like Jermaine Frank. I didn't know the loser got rewarded for fighting Anthony Joshua. This is for Anthony Joshua, who's coming off a loss to Usyk, back-to-back losses. He needed that rebound fight, and in the midst of them being so condescending with the remarks that they're making, you actually are showing how appreciative of you are, how appreciative of them you are. You didn't expect Jermaine Franklin to get rewarded with the Anthony Joshua fight, so who was supposed to get the reward? Who? Because you think highly enough of Anthony Joshua to where he's not, he's above a Jermaine Franklin. So who is he supposed to fight exactly? You know what I'm saying? So if that isn't enough, we get just all of these things you said about Joe Joyce, everything you said about this dude, man, everything you said about this dude. He's the next coming to George Foreman. He's this and that and the third. You sang this dude's praises just for him to go in there and get outlined in chalk the very next fight by Zhilei Zhang. And that's no shade on Joe Joyce. But it just goes to show the mindset of the American boxing public, bro. Y'all come off with some real asinine takes on the sport. Real asinine takes on the sport, man. Y'all, a lot of the fighters that y'all will indict somebody for, that y'all will indict them for doing moving how they move. Y'all will completely disregard the way that the other cats are moving. All that shit gets tossed out the window, man. I sat there and I watched this dude be overly cynical of Anthony Joshua and saying Joe Joyce would do this and that and the third to him because he knocked out Joseph Parker and he has a cast iron chin. And Anthony Joshua was off of 2 losses to an all-time great fighter. Fuck a heavyweight, an all-time great fighter. Usyk is officially an all-time great. Usyk is a top 10, top 20 heavyweight. All time. It is no debating. It is no debating. You dig? I watched you castigate that man because of how he lost to Usyk in the fashion that he lost to Usyk in, and in that moment you was overly praising Joe Joyce. I just, just once again, it's really just the venom that is the American public, the American boxing public, and just how y'all perceive things on the national, and not national, but on the international scale, bro. Y'all just do not value certain fighters. And Joe Joyce he's a Brit if I'm not mistaken, man. But he wasn't. I feel like if Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua had swapped places, you'd be favorable of Anthony Joshua as opposed to Joe Joyce. And I just think that shit is a crying shame because I'm not a detractor of Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce is dope. And he's definitely a quality heavyweight, man. I just think it was unfair how you would, coming with the notions that you were coming with for Anthony Joshua, man. It's like, yo, keep the same fucking energy. But but Joe Joyce, I think, is still a quality heavyweight. He's still a notable name to put on the resume. You dig? I would still like to see him in there with someone like a G Caballero. I would still like to see him in there with someone like him and Frankie Sanchez would be dope. Both y'all coming off of a loss, I bet. Go ahead and run that shit. You dig? I'd still love to see him in there with someone like not Daniel Dubois, but Andy Ruiz or even a Usyk if he wanted to go. I wouldn't even mind seeing him in Fury. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Dillian White. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Wouldn't mind seeing him in there with Jarrell Miller. I wouldn't mind seeing him in there with these top dogs at heavyweight. I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it at all. He lost to a quality heavyweight. You say what you want about Derek Chisora. No, he's never been a champion, man. But, that dude has the heart of a lion. And if you cannot weather the storm that he's going to put you under, you just not, you can't stand to be in the ring with him, man. Shit. Martin Bacoli, another heavyweight I'd love to see Joe Joyce in there with. That'd be a bloodbath. Go ahead, man. I don't know if you talk. Oh, no, he on the phone. But yeah, man, I fuck with Joe Joyce, man. But I really just got to sing the praises of Derek Chisora because everybody thought you was doomed walking into that ring. Everybody thought you was doomed. Shout out to Derek Ward Chisora, man. Salute to you. Hold your head up, Joe Joyce. This ain't it for you. There's big fights out there left for you, man. Let's, just get back on the ball. Don't let it discourage you, man. It's boxing. Motherfuckers is going to lose. Motherfuckers going to get knocked out. You still got a lot of fight left in you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you in it. So, yeah, that's how much I'm feeling about it, man. I'm about to pull up to the crib and kick it before I go to the gym. Y'all stay righteous, yo. Deuces.